In this second video in the Foundations of Yoga series, I'll try to reframe a few more basic yoga poses by emphasizing the role of the rotational axes in the hands. In the hand, the rotational axis runs from just under the outer wrist crease to the inside tip of the thumb. For activities where the hands serve in a load-bearing capacity, like when pushing heavy objects or supporting the weight of the body against the ground, this axis should be positioned parallel to the midline, much like the rotational axes of the feet.
When fully developed, the structure formed by the precise coordination of the 27 bones of the hand across the rotational axis can improve grip and proprioception and extend muscle tension from the back and shoulders down to the fingertips, bringing your upper body's lines of force into focus. As with the feet, you may not feel many of these benefits early in your training, but you should try to incorporate the axis of rotation into your yoga practice from the start, letting it inform every pose where the hands serve a foundational role. We'll begin with an exercise from the program called Plank Dog, which builds off of 2 yoga poses. Start with your hands in home position, and then rotate them so the thumbs move away from each other and the heels rotate forward for placement.
Now place them on the mat, positioning the outer wrist creases directly beneath your shoulder joints with your shoulder blades knit together. Roll the hands into position, engaging the base and tip of the pinky simultaneously before rotating across the wrist. Keep going until the knuckle of your thumb rolls into contact with the ground and the entire thumb, from the inner wrist to the outer tip, lies parallel to the midline of the body. At the same time, roll medially across the transverse arch of your hand so the base and tip of each finger make contact simultaneously, in series, moving from pinky to index finger. The thumb and index finger should roll into place together, with countervailing rotations that create a suction grip on the ground between them in the webbing of the hand. With the foundations of your pose set, begin in plank, keeping your arms vertical beneath you, your back knit, and your body rigid. When both hands are positioned and placed correctly, each should exert an inward force on its respective shoulder, creating a stable structure where the shoulder blades meet in the center of the back. Slowly shift back into downward dog, with a focus on keeping your hands stable. Hold each pose as long as you can before moving to the other, using each shift both for relief and as an opportunity to twist your grip more tightly around the rotational axes of the hands.
The key is to continue rolling the thumb inward and down, using the thumb's opposability to rotate both its joints into contact with the ground while gripping laterally with the tips of the other 4 fingers. Next, we'll look at Crow, a more intense pose that can help accelerate redevelopment of your hands once you've unlocked your rotational axes. Crow begins with the same base as plank, with an added emphasis on aligning the rotational axis of each hand with the body's midline, beginning with placement of the outer wrist creases directly beneath their respective shoulder joints.
Place both hands on the mat, adjusting the heels of the hand to align with your shoulder joints, which will likely be further back and in than you might intuitively expect. The key here is to roll across the wrists slowly, keeping your thumbs tucked close so you can continue to turn them in and under once they touch the mat, rotating the outer edges of the thumb knuckles towards the ground. The other 4 fingers are turned out, with the base and tip of each finger coming into contact with the ground at the same time, in series, from pinky to index finger.
Crow lets you apply the full weight of your body to the structure created by your hands. Over time, as the bones of your hands realign around the rotational axes, that structure does most of the heavy lifting.
Be sure to leave a comment if you want more information about the poses described here, or about applying the teachings of the program to other poses.